Just kind of looking back on WREX's history, you're a part of that. Tell me what like kind of your range when you worked for WREX.
I was here from 2002 to 2005 on the morning show.
Okay, were you a morning anchor, reporter?
Morning anchor.
Morning anchor.
Started off on weekends, but very quickly there was a transition with a bunch of staff and landed on the morning show and stayed there for a few years. That was a time where I had done a TV contract in Nebraska for 3 years coming out of college, and this was coming back home. I grew up here. So it was interesting to come back and work for WREX in my hometown. You know, there's a lot of family and friends here, and working in your hometown it's interesting.
I'm sure, yeah, because you not only make connections through this job, but you had just family and friend connections already, right?
I feel that when you have a tie that's greater than a role, you know, that's greater than a job or a career move, that when you get the opportunity to work and tell stories in your hometown where you have a vested interest, where you grew up, you know, the community that raised you, and then you're there giving back and telling these stories, it means something. It was a different way to see my community, and it was an education at a stage in my life that I wouldn't have gotten just by living here. You know, getting that 360 view of your town, of your city, and meeting people and hearing stories that I wouldn't have gotten to otherwise is a really cool part of even my own history. But I'm proud to have been a part of WREX's history in that.
Yeah, any favorite memories or stories that you worked on, or moments that you remember?
It's so funny, I'm having a really hard time remembering, but I think morning shows are great because you get to tell, you know, the news of the day or what may have happened overnight, but you also get to have a little bit more fun. There's more freedom on a morning show. And one of the things that I remember most is that we had a Santa lookalike contest. And just imagine, you know, 6 o'clock in the morning in the studio, and there's about 20 to 25 Santas there giving their best ho ho ho. And we had a great time with that. It was a neat opportunity to engage with community, have fun, laugh, and do something different that wasn't necessarily heavy news, but just a moment that we could go back and just have some fun together.
And a market like this and the morning show, I'm sure you felt that kind of tight-knit bond, right, with your colleagues at the time?
Yeah, and you know, small group, mighty group. I think it's you know, I got to work with Eric Sorensen before he had gone to be the main meteorologist. We were a team together, and Paul Youngblood as well. But you know, you're spending a couple of hours on set together, and it's usually just the two of you and a producer in your ear and a director. And yes, it does become a tight-knit group, and I have fond memories of that.
Pretty funny to see Sorensen as a congressman now, right?
I love his evolution. You know what is great about working in a smaller market TV station is that a lot of people have moved into different roles. Some have stayed in Rockford, some have moved beyond, and those connections always stay there. And so it is fun to look and see where people are now and to reach back out to them, or to be proud of how they've grown in their careers, and that we all have that common bond of passing through WREX at the same time. And I'm proud. I stayed in Rockford. My family is here. I've raised a family here and have worked at a few different organizations, now being at the YMCA, and still have a very strong connection to the media here. And you know, we are lucky to be able to tell those stories, you know, still. And so even though I'm not actively in the media anymore, I still get the opportunity to call upon, work with, help, you know, put stories together that still get told in the community.
Yeah, what's it like on the other side, as they say?
It's interesting. I always feel that news anchors and reporters should have to protect the reputation of an organization, and public relations professionals should understand what it's like to work in a newsroom. Being able to see and work from both sides of that, I feel, has helped relationships and has helped, you know, understanding what both sides need and want. And I think that the media plays an important role in our community and in our society. And I think that we all, just having that awareness and having understood what it means, what is news, what do we, I don't know. That won't be a good soundbite for you, but as I think through that, I think it's.
It's got a little guy tossing up.
What's up, dude? I don't know where I was going with that.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Then just looking back, like you said, 20 years ago now, just how do you think the kind of business has changed? 70 years ago, obviously, it was a lot different. It seems like probably every decade or so it gets a lot of changes in media, right?
I will tell you that my very first television job was in Scottsbluff, Nebraska, out of college. Very, very small station in a very small market. And we still had paper-fed teleprompters with the foot pedal underneath the desk. And so every show, the scripts were taped together and fed through the teleprompter. And then as the anchor, you hit the pedal and you read the script, and inevitably it would get stuck on the tape and you'd be trying to snap at somebody off camera too. And so when I moved, from that station to Lincoln, Nebraska, and then home to Rockford, clearly technology had changed. In the time that I worked at WREX, we were still editing on beta and just making the transition to digital. And so I was dipping back into what I had learned in college. We had learned to edit on both. And so we were just starting to move into that when I left. And so, it went from, set your in points, set your out points, preview it, and then make the cut for video to, uploading and rendering all of your videos and setting it. Technology has changed so much. I think that there's pros and cons to that. I think it's amazing when I see reporters today going live with hardly any gear. And it feels like, where are you going live from? Like, how are you making this signal go? Because in my day, we had to carry all this cable, and you could only go live from as far as the truck.
Point the satellite.
You had to get the mast up right. You couldn't do it on certain weather days. It wasn't always clear. And so I think technology has allowed reporters and anchors to be in the story more quickly, to be able to go live from almost anywhere, to be able to get that story and get it out to the masses faster. But I also think that sometimes, you really have to change and make sure that you're paying attention to protocol and double checking your work, because when you work faster, sometimes, that leaves an opportunity for more error. We had more time, it felt like, to get stories done. I mean, we're all still hitting deadlines on a daily basis for newscasts, but sometimes, you're doing a Facebook Live during the middle of the day. You're not even waiting for newscasts today.
Right.
And so it is really interesting to me. Social media didn't exist when I was, gosh, I'm really dating myself here. But, it's interesting to see the evolution of how news is created and outputted today. And there's a part of me that misses that, and there's a part of me that wishes I could have been a part of it, and then there's a part of me that's like, I'm glad I wasn't a part of it when social media has been, it comes with some new checks and balances, and so it's interesting, that's for sure.
All right, Michelle, any other memories you want to touch on or anything from your time? Anything you want to reflect on?
I just think there's some really amazing people in the history of WREX. I have gotten the opportunity to work with some stellar individuals who helped shape and mold me for where I am today, and I appreciate those people. And I think it's exciting to celebrate WREX's 70 years, and I'm proud to have been a part of the history.